Okay, brilliant. So, welcome everyone to another episode of the Financial Focus Smart Investing with Zach Meir. And today, Clem is having a few issues. He's traveling, so he's might not going to be able to join us. But we have got the market guru, the new CEO, okay, and so on, Zach Meir. So, Zach, how have you been?
Well, I was because I'm engaging in this fundraise at the moment for Lift Global Ventures.
Okay.
And I was initially thinking, oh, it's presenting, like presenting your deck and, presenting to potential investors and institutions. I mean, that's quite, it's worse than going to the dentist. It's like
Yeah,
the thought of it is awful. And I've been, and the other thing is, over the last 20 years, I've seen so many presentations and so many CEOs and all the other people talking about their company. You think, well, one, you think, can I stay awake? Which is the main problem I always have.
Exactly.
Then they're on slide 3 of 25, and you think, oh, right, they've taken 20 minutes to get. So you have all that death by PowerPoint, and then they're either right, like they really know their industry, so they're like oil and gas, or they're a crypto person, or this or that, but they know nothing about the stock market. Absolutely nothing. Or they know about the stock market, but they know nothing about the sector. So but what I realized in doing that I probably know, well, the Lift is only to do with my sector, investing in my space. So who knows more about my space than me, apart from you probably. And so that's good. I said to people, I know about financial websites. I was writing for ADVFN 20 years ago or 21 years ago. Can you believe it?
No,
and
really.
we're still here. And, all the other people, all our other friends in the market, who they are, for 20 years plus. So, I was there right at the beginning. So just like being there at the beginning of the internet, or the beginning of the first cars, or the first trains, or, it's that kind of thing, isn't it? And it's a big thing. And the same with social media. Twitter, what, 13 years or something. I don't know when Twitter came out, but was it 2006, something like that?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. So as soon as it came out, I was there, because I thought this is an easy way of communicating, and it was. And so that's that. And then all the other stuff, the investing in the market as well. I mean, the amount of RNSs and stuff I've seen, and all that sort of thing. So in the end, actually, after thinking, oh my God, this is going to be difficult or painful, it's actually really good.
Yeah, exactly.
So there we are.
Listen, if I can give some advice, just try to keep it very short. Presentation shouldn't be long.
Well, no, they don't. No, they don't. Well, no, the thing is, if you're just talking, it tends to be much. It's either like if you're just talking and off the cuff, saying this is what I do, that's conversation is fine.
Exactly, conversation.
But if you're going through if you're going through a presentation and it's on Zoom, I mean, well, the only good thing about a presentation on Zoom is that you can exactly. you can turn off the camera, and turn off the audio as well.
But ideally, that's what, for example, I see lots in the tech space and in crypto. You have like 3-4 minutes where you should be able to pitch your investment case. And then obviously, there are opportunities to expand. So depend which kind of scenario you are in, but I'm sure you're going to be fine. So Zach, listen, let's kick off with Omicron.
Yeah.
So last Friday was a bloody Friday, and I think the market overreacted to the news of a new variant without considering the fact that actually it should be less deadly than the previous one, and variant shouldn't be more worrying, and so I think the market kind of overreact. That was my takeaway. And we also see Bitcoin quite impacted by that. Gold was kind of still, but it didn't hold up, even though it was not crashing at the same time as the stock and crypto. But I would like to hear your thought on the Omicron news, the reaction of the market, and where do you think we are with the economy? Should investors stick to the stock market and investment in different assets, or should they maybe cash a bit more and start to fill their cupboard with long life food?
Well, I think that despite the best scaremongering efforts, I think that Omicron is not the. I think it's just another. I think it's fake news. I think it's establishment fake news. We have that. It's a bit like the sort of Project Fear that we had with Brexit and other things like that. Actually, the Project Fear with Brexit might have been right, but with this one, I think that we've got there's too much of an agenda with. I'm afraid it just seems to be just to do with drug companies selling vaccines. I can't really say it's anything more than that. And if you look at it like that, then you understand that they want to. First, they wanted to vaccinate people over 60. Then it was over 50, then 40, and now literally as soon as you're born, they want to vaccinate you. I mean, the thing has just gone mental. And
did you see the market capitalization on Moderna when the news of the variant came out? I think it put billions on the market capitalization. Is madness.
Well, no, but I think the interesting thing with Moderna is that I suppose whatever it is, I don't know what it is, vaccine or a treatment or whatever, is probably more of a one-trick type of invention as compared to the Astra. The Astra vaccine, I think, is more like the old type of vaccine where you give somebody a weakened form of the disease and then the body builds up the immunity. But I don't care about the drug companies. I think they've been very greedy, and they are just pushing that agenda of getting vaccinated. I'm not somebody who's anti-vaxxer at all, and I think that people should get vaccinated, but the way that they're doing it's just propaganda, and I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's very dangerous also to vaccinate children when you really don't know what the long-term effects are at all. It does, an old person like me, who cares really? But if you've got children,
you still have to IPO your company first.
Well, no, I mean but then there's maybe
ring the bell and then whatever.
I think if I didn't have children, I wouldn't care at all. But obviously, they want somebody to pay for their food and everything, so I've got to stay alive. But as a 55-year-old, I would take my chances with COVID, and I wouldn't care. And I think if I got COVID and they refused to treat me in hospital, I'd say, well, thank you very much. I wouldn't be bothered at all. So I think that each person should be allowed to make their own choice and not suffer either being not allowed to go out or this or that. I think if you want to take your chances with COVID, you take them. And if you don't want to get COVID, then you shouldn't go out. It's very simple. This is not rocket science. Part of the thing.
What's your thought on the booster?
No, that's just another thing. All of that is to do with drug companies selling more vaccines. I'm afraid we're going to have boosters for the rest of our lives. There'll probably be like 2 or 3 a year, and then 2 or 3 a week. We'll be like we're going to be like pin cushions by the end of our lives. It'll just be sort of completely perforated. It doesn't make any sense. It could still be the case that in the end, gradually the virus will get stronger, and more and more people die. But maybe it might be the case there's nothing we can do about it. In 10 years' time, 10% of the population will gone, and 20. We don't know. We just really don't know. But I think the vaccine thing doesn't make any sense. And but anyway, as far as the markets are concerned, I think at the moment any dip because of the virus scares are dips to buy into. The one in March last year was a dip to buy into, and so far for even Fridays was the FTSE went to 7,000. It was a buy there, etc., etc. So I think you've got to take it on a company by company basis, sector by sector basis.
Exactly. And talking about sectors and talking about companies, have you come across any good gems, any interesting company over the last week that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the other week I talked about Gunson, which went a bit lower, but now is actually back up again. And I think that I think that was Gunson was actually almost an inspiration for me doing my company, Lift Global Ventures, because I know the guy there. He's a very clever guy. And I think the idea of having he has mining and technology, but I'm just going for technology. But I was so impressed by him that I thought it's actually inspired me to do it. And so that's why I like Gunson. I think the company that stood out for me recently has been actually Jubilee Metals, which is a metals recovery company. And they're just like a cash machine. There's, it's a great space. It's, tailings, in mostly in Africa. They're moving to Cyprus as well. But to be able to recover metals from dumps, I think is a great business. It's as green as you can get in the mining space, because you're actually cleaning up a place. And I think today's figures are profits up 140% or something like that, with a very good number. And they're continuing to do very well, and you can see that they've done very well in the last year, and they're basically doing as well as a mining company could be expected to do, but without the risk of not having anything in the ground. So they have the tailings and they process them, and you can see all those things there look like they're the right color. Yeah. Let us say. So that's that. I think the other thing which has inspired me, just because the market was actually very quiet even before the COVID scare on Friday, is the crypto space. Yeah. I do think that people are moving. Quite a lot of trading has moved from the small cap area or the stock market into crypto. And I think for me, apart from the big names, it still seems to be there's a lot of interest in the micro cryptos. And because micro cryptos, well, all cryptos are very technical analysis based. It's if you're a normal crypto trader, maybe it's not so easy. But for me, looking at a daily chart or intraday chart of Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana, which I think is the sort of the latest warm or hot area.
It's unbelievable how Solana grows.
Yeah. And so things like that, I think, the sort of anything which is near to $1, the ones which are sort of 0.00 whatever it is a bit nutty. But for me, I think that things which get through the sort of through the $1 area, if we can find things like that, the sort of the newly emerging ones are the ones to look at. They can be, well, it's like Dogecoin was last year.
So basically you're saying, Zach, that crypto is taking over the liquidity, some of the liquidity in the stock market.
Yes, I think it is. And I think that that's why I would, be looking to have some, like a crypto exposure, not so much in terms of the cryptos themselves, but service providers to the crypto space. There are a lot of crypto websites, and I think there are plenty, the sort of the picks and shovels of the business, I think, are very strong. And so the people who are commentators on crypto on Twitter have the most following. They have, I've got 20,000 followers. They'll have 200,000 followers, even if they're just doing the same thing. So the interest there is massively greater in the crypto space. So
I'm just sharing.
I mean, what I was looking for myself over the week was a website or a trading platform where you can see the smaller cryptos, or at least the fast moving ones, and momentum trade those particular situations. So
but maybe Binance is the best. I mean, this is where I find most of the more comprehensive platform.
I looked at Binance. I think Binance is the best for. I think the charting there was pretty good, and I think that I think given that people are, trying to get, they buy for 1 cent and they're trying to get to $1 on some of their trades, the technical side there is really, really good. I mean, I'm proud of myself for getting into technical analysis 30 years ago, but it's interesting that, crypto is almost all technical analysis. Whereas when I started in technical analysis, we were still writing charts on that was just before the PCs came in, and so there were a lot of charts just on paper. So just the technology has totally changed for that. But I like the cryptos because they're 24-hour markets. They don't have that sort of gap
Exactly.
that stocks have overnight, or indices even have overnight. But if you look at one of the small ones, the small price ones, those are the ones which really can small, in terms of $1, $2, that type of small. I mean, I think that's Algorand or something. Yeah, but I mean, those sorts of things I think are very interesting, and I'm quite keen to start looking at the sort of the day trading aspect of these smaller crypto plays.
Algorand is a brilliant chain. I mean, it's great, but there are some other, like, Polygon, Compound. It's a shame that Clem is not here, because I think he was quite bullish on Matic this week on Polygon. So
Right.
that's definitely one of the,
I mean, for me, I would like, I mean, I think that is the area I'd like to get into. Let's say I'm the small cap expert, but I'd like to be the small crypto expert.
Exactly.
I'd like to get into that.
I'm a fan of the Umbria token, which it will grow quite a lot. So I'm really looking forward for them to integrate.
But just put the intraday chart there. The intraday chart, just to see
it's just growing organically so nicely, and it's just amazing to see.
But that's that for me, that's like a penny stock. You see what I mean? So
exactly. I mean, it's gonna go to $200 definitely. So the $10 is the first milestone, but anyway. So definitely, I mean, I would say Umbria is one to look, and Polygon another one, Compound, Aave, Algorand, yes, but also I think an area very interesting to look at is privacy coin. Privacy coin is something that could become quite big coming up. We have seen the explosion in Metaverse coin. Now there might be in DAO coin, but I think privacy coin and social token as well, that could be an interesting area to look. And then obviously NFTs. I actually got my first NFT, quite an expensive NFT this week, and it's a warrior from Red Village. So I'm kind of really excited about my first generation champion. So,
Well, I'm glad you understand it, because it might take a while for me to understand.
Well, let's see, how much is going to be valued, because, we still have to see. The market is always giving value. But you mentioned about, getting into crypto trading, and I just would like to highlight two websites that they are quite interesting. One is Bitpanda. I had an interview yesterday with the CEO, which is an ex-JP Morgan, and is just joining the institutional side. So what is interesting they offer is not just trading crypto, but also tokenized equity. So if you want to buy Apple share, you can actually buy Apple share here. And you just basically trade on the spread, right? So it's a different way to kind of get into stock, and that's an interesting way, perhaps, that investor could look at investing in shares rather than go and buy the shares. Just invest in a coin that is basically a tokenized shares. So that's kind of driving a lot. They've got tokenized commodities as well, and tokenized ETFs. And then there is a Prime XBT, which is more about for trading stocks. And here you could actually follow strategy of successful traders. So let's say that you like the trading strategy of somebody in this platform, you can follow them. And then basically as they execute, you can execute the same and make money based on their strategy.
I would just copy you, obviously.
Exactly. Well, no, not me, but I think, you know, you can copy some other successful people. I'm more a hodler than a trader, really. I mean, even though I like to trade, but you know, if I have to put myself in a box, I will probably do the hodler, even though I do some trades. Yeah, maybe in the middle, but tending to the hodler.
I think looking at these websites, you can see how far everything has moved. I mean, looks, you know, like even in the last year or something, things have really,
it's
things have really changed. And as I said, I'm very interested in having not taking the risk of being involved, you know, trading on crypto, you know, as a PLC, but actually, you know, the best service providers or websites or trading platforms for this. I think that would always be something where, you know, you would have revenues, you'd have a sort of dynamic business, and, you know, once they're sort of set up, then they have a momentum of their own. And I think, you know, and it's something also that I understand from the broking area, you know, the stock market area. So it's just you're just substituting the stocks for cryptos. You know, you're saying you like, you know, algo around or whatever it is, and I say I like Gunsynd, but you know, they're just both sort of penny stocks. You know, they're both
exactly cheap. But I think, you know, there you will have to look about the use case. It's kind of the same, really. It's kind of the same. It might be a little bit more.
Well, no, but that's the thing. That's the problem is that but this shows why the stock market is you know, there's stamp duty, there's the funny trading out, there's the trading hours, there's the lack of
the settlement as well.
Yeah, there's all that, and that's why this has come through, because, you know, and then there's all the you know, obviously the I don't know how the tax thing works with the crypto area. Maybe it doesn't work at all, but there's just all the red tape and the barriers to getting involved that you have with the stock market. Is just, and also, as I said, it's actually for me a plus point that, you know, if you invest in BT or, you know, Barclays Bank, every now and again there's a broker's upgrade, downgrade, which, you know, just comes out of the blue. There's the you know, the other news from the company, whereas with the cryptos, you're basically just trading the numbers. You know, you've got a story behind it, but you're just basically just trading the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, look at this chart. This is compound. I mean, that was last year. See, it is kind of like, I mean, for me, compound is a compelling one.
I mean, for me, that's just, you know, that's the thing. That's the beauty of charting, that it, you know, it can be anything. It doesn't matter what it is, and that's a really. But all these markets, these liquid markets, and 24-hour markets. And, you know, and also it's just, I suppose, you know, it's cool. It's cooler than, you know, much of the stock market's very stuffy.
So Jack, because, you know, maybe a lot of investors are in your same position. They have been doing lots of stock and shares, and now they want to go into crypto. They want to build a portfolio. You mentioned that you want to find some small cap, but how are you going to go about building your portfolio? I mean, when I started, I obviously started with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I started to add a small one, and then go into the really small one, which, you know, if you lose your money, whatever. I even bought like adult content token, and I don't know if you know, I will be ever able to get my money back, or maybe it's going to shoot up to the moon. But, you know, you make your choice, you pick up your favorite one. What's your strategy to build your crypto portfolio?
No, my strategy would just be the technical one, because I don't know where to look to get the information about the different markets. So that where do you get the information about, you know, Solana?
Yeah, well, you will have to read about the project, to see, you know, what the market is talking about. I think you will need to get into the crypto community a bit. and to see the momentum, you know, how the community is reacting, if the project.
But where do they hang out? Is it just on
Well,
Twitter?
Yeah, they do a lot on Twitter and Discord. I think that's kind of like the main one. Then there are stuff on Reddit, there are stuff on Telegram. To be honest, I don't use Telegram a lot because I think there are lots of service providers trying to sell their influencer skills. And yeah, so I
a lot of weirdos on there as well.
Exactly. So I don't think Telegram for me doesn't work, but Discord is great because it's a place where you join a server of the project. The team is there and you can ask any question that you want, and actually the team member or the people working with the team, they are going to answer to you. So it's just basically a great way to get to know about the project. So Discord and Twitter as well, because they are doing lots of Twitter space. And there are lots of conversation on Twitter, so starting to follow people on Twitter, and that's a good place to start. And then you can go up on Discord, and then there are lots of conferences, and yeah, it slowly I think it's possible to get in. But when you are talking about technical analysis, how do you choose the one that, you know, you are gonna focus on the analysis? Like here, what would you do?
Well, I suppose I would look in the right, you know, I can see the different columns there. I suppose Avalanche would be the interesting one at the moment. So, you know, something with a decent trend, and then you'd be looking for a level, a pullback level on that.
Yeah.
But that was that's a beautiful moving situation, and I think what's also good about it is that a lot of the other cryptos have had a horrible few weeks, but that one is actually just going, you know, from strength to strength. So something like that, I think, would be the. But I think, you know, I just tend to look for the new fast-moving ones, and that's my, you know, maybe the first I might look at the risers and fallers, you know, like seeing the percentage risers and fallers, and obviously, like here, you'd be looking for a breakout, so a breakout through. Can't see what the number is, but like 22, 23, something like that kind of thing. So but it's just like I would do whatever I would do with shares.
Stocks. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's very interesting, because coming from you, that you have been involved with the stock market for a long time, and now, you know, you see the big opportunity in crypto. That's quite
you know, I just see that people who are like even quite conservative, and now it's going, you know, it is going mainstream. And it's something that, you know, I think there's not enough people who talk about it. There's, you know, just the odd person who tends to be somebody who just got on the bandwagon rather than actually has an interest in it. And so I think it's a relatively closed community in that way, that because the establishment don't want crypto to succeed, they don't actually allow people to get informed about it either, which actually makes it worse. So that's the other problem.
The other thing is, what about new IPO, new company? They are using blockchain technology, or they are looking at DeFi, for example, and they might be looking to, obviously in complying with rule and regulation, to join the stock market. Do you see that's perhaps a space to look? So in the stock market, but looking more like the new technology, AI. AI is a massive driver right now, because
but the problem is a lot of companies that just they don't actually know anything about AI.
Exactly.
But they just get on the bandwagon. That was one thing I really wanted to avoid, that nobody can say that I'm getting on the bandwagon of anything, because I'm just doing what I've always done. And I think that's a very big point. So I think the real point is to try and find people who are experts in the particular area and have been. I think KR1 is the best example. I think, you know, that man's a genius. He's obviously such a genius, doesn't talk to me. But they're
might be too busy, you know.
It was everybody's too. Even you're too busy for me. But I mean, the point is that you know, they are. You know that they're fantastic. I mean, KR1 are fantastic. There are one or two other sort of stocks. I think one or two crypto-facing stocks. I can't remember at the moment, but
so tell me, NFT investments. Do you follow them?
Who?
NFT investment.
Yes, but they had such a bad IPO or post-IPO period. It's going to take, a year probably for the dust to settle and everything else.
Oh
So,
yeah, okay,
so that was very good. Dispersion is very good, but they just had, they were floated very expensive in the bubble of
yeah.
Q1. And so with that always takes a while to churn through all the stock and everything else. But NFT is going to be great. Dispersion is going to be great, but it's just a matter of how long you want to wait. But I think their idea was right, that you have people, like me, who are into the stock market, but they want some exposure to crypto, the crypto world. And so dispersion looks fantastic. I've met with the company. NFT as well is going to be good, but it's a bit like Argo blockchain. It took so long. It took a while for the shares to finally take off.
But this is the problem, because the market have to understand what they are doing, has to become familiar with what they are doing, and that's an investor as well. So yeah, it might take a bit longer than unusual another sector, but definitely the space to watch. So okay, Zach, anything?
I have to head off. I've got a very
busy.
But I always say I've never spoken to you as much as I've spoken to you today, which is great. We're getting better now. It's like more than half an hour.
And next week we can get Clem to kind of.
But I'd like Clem next week to tell me as much about the practicalities of trading crypto, because we've talked about it. We've never gone into the detail of that, and that's which are the best websites, which are the best platforms, who to avoid, what type of crypto is worth trading, whether it should be the ones which are the biggest ones or the smallest ones or something in the middle, et cetera, looking at the technicals only or looking at what's behind them, that kind of thing. So that would be great.
I'm gonna leave you with an idea, and then I'm just gonna leave everyone. Right, here it is. So what I do sometimes, which I kind of like, I go on CoinGecko, which has got all the information about the token. And then what I do, for example, I go in DeFi, and then you can see the one or in NFT, for example, coins, sorry. You go in coins. So here you can find your area if you want to invest in DeFi or NFT. But when I go in coins, I do recently added. So these are the one they added, and that means they are the little gems. They are not a small cap. They are the micro penny. They really. That's where I got my adult token, and I got also my DeFi pet that went up. So I mean, from £200 I make 3,000, and then so that here you find the one, and then what you do.
Well, that's exactly what I was looking for.
So the Centraline games are not bad one. So you go through them, and then obviously, if there is one like I don't know, Gaming Shiba, I'm not sure about it, because it might be just a con, but there are some other Moonscape. There are some other that are actually genuine one, because when you start a project, you need to get it listed on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. Those are the two places where you need to get your project listed for visibility. So I will go here and try to find one that you like, and then when let's say you click on this one, Cheese DAO. Right here, you see information, and then you can see where you can buy. You can actually buy on SushiSwap, right? So then you go on SushiSwap, and then you see the liquidity, the volume, and you can get your token from here. So they also advise you where you can buy it. So that's what I'm gonna leave you. Here is all this information with social media. Obviously, a way to check them out is to go on Twitter, go on Discord, go on Medium, see how much they have done. Make sure they have got some document on GitHub, so they have got some information about what they do. It's kind of very important to check out the info page. So that's it. I hope it was helpful. And next week, I'm sure that Clem can tell us more.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Zach. Have a good week, and good luck with the presentation. Thank you, everyone. And